This video is intended to teach you how to do multi-step equations, replacing the class that you missed for the snow day, or just hearing it again if you were in class and weren't paying the best of attention. First of all, this equation is different from the first video that I made because in this equation there's actually two terms that contain a letter. So your job is going to be always to combine all like terms with the variables on one side and the numbers on the other. So I can combine these two terms very easily based on our previous math knowledge and make it 8n. So 8n is equal to 16. To solve this equation, I want to know what value of n, when I multiply it by 8, will equal 16. Well, you probably already know that. To solve this using the rules, we would say what number multiplied by 8. So if I divide by 8 on both sides, that'll allow me to cancel the 8's, leaving me with n is equal to 16 divided by 8. Therefore, n is equal to 2. That makes pretty good sense. And you want to be double sure. You can always check your answers by going back, writing down the original equation without the equal sign, separating the left side from the right side, and substituting. So 5 times 2 plus 3 times 2, so 10 plus 6, you get 16, and there you go. The left side is equal to the right side, 16 is equal to 16, so therefore the solution is not 16, the solution is n is equal to 2. Another one. Take an equation like this one. Minus a plus 5a equals 5a minus 2 minus 5 plus 5. So right away you should see that there's multiple terms with a's and multiple constants or numbers without letters. The first thing that I see here is a minus 5 and a plus 5 are equal but opposite, and they are going to cancel. And I also see on the left-hand side two like terms. So minus 1a, you want to put the 1 in there to help, minus 1 plus 5 would be 4a if I want to do that part in my head. I'm going to bring the other variable term to the left, change the sign, minus 5a, and that's going to equal minus 2. Because the minus 5 plus 5 canceled. My next step would be to have minus 1a, or just negative a, equals negative 2. I don't want to know what negative a is, I want to know what a is. So if I divide both sides by a negative 1, I don't change the value, but I will change the sign. A negative and a negative will make it a positive a, and a negative 2 and a negative 1 will make it a positive 2. So a is actually equal to 2. Now another kind of question that you'll see will be one where, I won't say it yet, negative 11 plus 7n is going to equal 1 minus 3n. So now we have two constant terms and two variable terms. So I'm going to put the letters, say the n terms on the left and the constants on the right. Does it matter what you do? Absolutely not. You can pick your team. So I have a 7n already on the left, and it's positive. I don't need to put the plus in the front. I'm going to move the minus 3n over and change the sign to plus 3n. On the right-hand side, there already is the 1. When the minus 11 comes over, it becomes a plus 11. This is going to give me 10n equals 12. Now the rule says whatever's in front of your n, you need to do the opposite. In this case, it's multiplied by 10. So I'm going to divide both sides by 10. And I'm going to get n is equal to 12 over 10. That needs to be reduced to lowest terms. So n is equal to 6 over 5. Now in my rules in my classroom, I would not want you to change that answer to a decimal. And I would want it to be in lowest terms. It's a fraction. And here's how you know about this decimal rule. If there are no decimals in the original question, then I do not want decimals in the answer. So keep it. And I also will not accept any mixed numbers. They need to be improper if they are fractions. So remember, if you use your calculator, you can use the shift or second function button and the fraction button again to pop it back. Say it had said 1 1/5. I don't want that answer. I want it to go back and become 6/5. Another kind of question you're going to see will be one with a bracket. So 7 onto n plus 3 minus 9 equals 54. So the first order of business is always going to be to clear the bracket. We learned that last week. This is called the distributive law. So 7n plus 21 minus 9 is equal to 54. That would be a cleared expression. The rules are all your letters on one side and all your constants on the other. So we're going to have to move two constants to the right, and we're going to keep our 7n on the left. So 7n is going to equal, maybe you want to do 21 minus 9 in your head first and make that into a 12. When you bring it to the right, the 54 that's already there is going to now be subtracted by 12, and you're going to get 7n is going to equal 42. Then you want to divide, in this case, by 7, because the 7 is multiplied by the n, so n is going to equal 6. If you wanted to check that, if you were a big nerd and really wanted 100% for your exercise, then what you can do is rewrite your equation, and everywhere there's an n, substitute your answer. So 7, we're saying n is equal to 6. So 6 plus 3. 6 plus 3 is a 9. 9 times 7 is 63. And 63 minus 9 gives you 54. Left side is equal to the right side. You have proven then that the solution is n is equal to 6. Now the questions don't really get any harder, they just get more busy. So I'm going to do a few more in this video and then split it up and do a few more in the next video. So say we take a question not really any different, maybe a little bit longer. 6x plus 7x equals 8 onto 1 plus 4x minus, and then a bracket, 2x plus 8. So your first thing you're going to do is you're going to clear your brackets and gather like terms. On this next step, I might choose here to put 6x and 7x together because we can, they're like terms, and get 13x. That's pretty straightforward. The next line I'm going to do 8 times 1 and 8 times 4x. So I'm going to get an 8 plus 32x. Now be very careful in the next step. That's really a minus 1 or a minus in front of that bracket. That has the power to change the sign of every term inside that bracket. So right now, it's currently a 2x. It's going to become minus 2x. And right now it's an 8. It's going to become a minus 8. So now if you scan and look at all your terms, you've got a variable, and a variable, and you have two constants. So we're going to have to put all the variables on one side and the letters on the and the numbers on the other. So if I move these over, 13x, maybe you're going to do that part first in your head. Maybe you're going to say that's 30x. Bring the 30x to the left, change it to a minus. On the right-hand side, 8 minus 8 is going to be a 0. If you keep breaking it down and simplifying, 13 take away 30 is minus 17x equals 0. You follow the rules. 17 and minus 17 multiplied by x So you're going to divide both sides by minus 17. Okay, negative 17 divided by negative 17 gives you a 1, so you're left with just an x. If you have 0 and you divide it by negative 17, you're going to get an answer of 0. So the answer is 0. If you go back to the original and you will write it all out and type it all in there, I think I'm going to do that check at the bottom just because we can. If we did this, we would have 6 times 0 plus 7 times 0 would equal 8 onto 1 plus 4 times 0 minus, that could be a bigger bracket I suppose, minus 2 times 0 plus 8 in a bigger bracket. On the left, 6 times 0 is 0, 7 times 0 is 0, you get a 0. On the right, 4 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1, all multiplied by 8, minus 2 times 0 is 0. Inside that bracket, you're going to get an 8. 8 take away 8. You're going to get left side equals right side, and that would tell you that your solution was correct. So the answer is indeed equal to 0. So remember, on a number line, 0 is a number. Just like 1 or minus 1 or a half or 3.14. It's a valid answer. So don't think you did something wrong if you get an answer of 0. 0 is just a number. In my next video, I'm going to do some more examples.